Well, you guys, it's a new morning, as always, and we're back to the grind. And today, we're working again on the longer Wharram. I know this is a big multi-series, but we have to get it done because there's a lot of work to be done. So, we went ahead and filled in this back box here. So this is all glassed in now, nice and nice. We'll go ahead at some point, grind it down, smooth some surfaces. I don't think we got to fair it because it's never going to be seen. It's just like a storage container of some sort. And this is just a platform, a nice platform to build upon, which we're happy about. But here, we know for a fact that at this section right here, there was a storage locker. This is for the life raft. So we're probably going to try to close this up and build that storage. Now there's a couple options we can do. We could throw a fat piece of Kusa on there to close it up, but that could also be very wasteful. Or we could use a sheet of Divinycell. And here I have about like an inch and a quarter, inch and a half, or 2-inch piece of Divinycell that we can cut and glass it right here, and then we'll throw a hatch on top, and then that could be our final product as well. So we're just in the design phase right now to try to figure out what's the best option of it, because we don't want to waste material, but we know that this is a section that should be covered up. And I think if we cover this up, it'll be good. What we have to do here for sure is build a retaining wall that bonds this section here, closes it up, and then build the platform on top. But that will mean that we have to grind all this stuff back, grind this back, fill in these gaps here, and then we can bond those pieces in. So quite a bit of work, but I mean, we could do it. We've done worse. So I found out how he built the anchor box, but it's just so big. What they built out. So what I understand, it would be 54 inches tall. So that original anchor box was like this tall, dude. That seems massive. That's a lot of material, a lot of Kusa to cut out for an anchor box. I don't know if all that is needed, but I really don't want to waste all that material to build that. This is not a structural piece. All this is a hatch. We're just putting a lip here. And then later on, we'll be bonding a piece of Kusa here and Kusa here to build those platforms. But this compartment is not structural. We already have a big bulkhead here. There's going to be another big bulkhead here. This is just a platform. So I don't think going all out on Kusa is needed when we have this cheap old Divinycell that we got for the Lolo, which I think is a better investment to use. It'd be smarter to use, in my opinion. Right now what we're doing is marking out. We're marking out where this is going to sit, this locker box. And so we can cut out the shape. And then we'll just only glass that instead of wasting a bunch of resin and glass just to make the cutting process harder later. Which in my opinion doesn't sound too rad. What the heli? What the heliante? Check it out. Lucy, I'm home. So now this is the basic rough cut that we're gonna do right here of the soft hatch that we built. So that's gonna sit like that. Now we're just going to clean it up a little bit. Bevel it, and then put a little lip on the bottom. And then we'll glass it all in. We'll glass this piece separately, and then we'll glass it in after we build some reinforcements on the bottom and take it off. That should be fine at the end of it. So I was able to find all these offcuts that I think we can use to make a nice little board, backing board. It's just going to be the lip, and it's also going to provide this thing with some strength. So I'm gonna try to use these because I'd rather use these than the big sheets of Kusa that we have, just to save material. Because in the end, the more material you save, the better we live. I think this might just work, you guys. If we put this in the correct section and tab it in and glass it over, well, we'll have our little hatches. Isn't that beautiful? Always. I'm a ladies' man, no time to talk. Look at fast, and that don't mean I'm back. It's alright, it's alright, it's okay. You can hit the other way. Can't win. It's always raining. It's been raining like every other day, dude. And luckily we have this canopy. We almost moved to a boatyard with no canopy. And honestly, as much as that would have been nice because of the cheaper rent, it's just the time you waste waiting around for the rain to stop. It just there's no way to be productive. And so I'm a little bit happy that we stayed a little bit longer here until we move. But still, dude, this rain, because we're limited in so much space, the long run has to stand out a little bit. We were planning a fair today, and we're not gonna be able to fair until this rain stops. So right now we're building this little this little section, and I'm just praying that the rain doesn't blow this way into my project. But we'll see, man. Heliante is not on our side today. So we've run into an issue. The issue being that this longer run project, in order to finish it, I have to build out a couple items. Right now we're working on the original storage compartment that was the middle third of the rear end of the longer run. We have the top. I'll show you. Here's the top and the hatch that we made for it. We're putting the inner lip, and then after this we'll sand it down, glass it over, and then we'll put this on top, sandwich it, and glass this down. This is Divinycell, and we decided to go with Divinycell, big chunk of it. I think it's like a 1.25 inch thick or 1.5 inch thick piece of Divinycell, because it's a storage compartment. It's nothing more. It's not supposed to be load bearing or anything like that. It's just meant for storage. So we're going to use that to build that. The two other things that we need to build now. I finally got the dimensions for this, for what we need to build here. Here, this is a winch island. And I think, in my opinion, it's probably a good idea to continue to build this, so that we can have control of the halyard winches and everything like that in between. I think it's a good idea to have it. The other option would be to just build another hatch compartment here, and then we install the halyard winches on the inside of the deck. but then that takes up space. So something we'd rather avoid if we can. Or we could just attach the halyards directly to the beam. Halyard winch directly to the beam. That's another option as well. But remember, it does have to be next to the mast, so as close to that. We're still deciding right now. But the biggest out of everything is the creation of the original anchor locker. And we finally found out that this is 100% where the anchor locker was. Now, the design of the anchor system that they were going to use, I don't have that yet. And we're still researching to try to figure out what it was. Originally, I saw that he had used this box. He brought it up about 30 inches or so high. And then he had an anchor, like an anchor funnel. It's like a funnel that went over the beam. And just for reference, the beam sits here. The beam sits right here, cradled in this section and bolted in. And then after that, the anchor sat from up here, went down the cradle, and came over here, or to the side over here. You can't come in here because the ladder sits in here, and the ladder has to be able to move freely. So the anchor came to the side over here, in some fashion of that manner. But we have a little bit of creativity here because we have this open space that was already originally here, which also could have been for the anchor. I'm not sure yet. We have to decide that part, how we want to build that, because right now we don't have any creative designs yet for that. The biggest questions here are, do we want to have a giant anchor locker right here? Do we want to have two storage systems back there? Or do we want to say fuck this and chop everything and just have an onboard storage system that's a little bit more chunkier than all this? These are questions that I don't know yet, and they are bugging me heavy. And to top it all off, it's Friday, and it's probably 4 o'clock, so all of my suppliers are closed until Monday morning. Sick. So we finished doing the center deck, just the back piece right here. We finished glassing it. We have it here just drying because it's raining. So this guy's all taken care of. Once it's done, we'll route out the edges. And then obviously we'll glass that in. That came out pretty nice. But here, what we decided, because we're trying to rush so much work, and we have so much time to take care of all this work, we don't have to do this right now. I think what we're going to do is we're going to turn this section here into a solid Kusa box. Then later we can come back and do some work to it. We don't necessarily need to make this a full solid winch box now, because the idea of what we're going to do can change at any moment. So I think we've decided is that once we bond this thing in place, we're going to come back and we're going to bond a big old table here out of Kusa, top over Kusa with a hatch in it. And then we're going to clean it up, and then the longer arm, this inside should be done for the most part. For right now, until we decide what we're going to do in the future, but for right now, it'll be done. And we can call this project finish for now. It's exciting. But I'm glad we came up with a solution finally, instead of trying to like twiddle our thumbs and figure out what we're going to do. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to chop these edges off. I'm going to flatten this surface up. And then we're going to mock up the top that we're going to put on here. And then glass that in. So, if you like the video, make sure you leave a like, comment down below what was your favorite part, what was your least favorite part, or
what kept you watching the whole time.
And as always, make sure to follow the struggle and the journey. You can check us out on Instagram and even Patreon, The Father Blue. Help us out, get this thing in the water a little bit quicker. And as always, you guys, you already know,
We love all our big dogs.
We love all our big dogs. Woo, woo.